indeed, as you said, oops. Yes. Guinée Potin was initiated by two people, Flore and I, since 2002 here in Nantes. We are both from Brittany, in the northwest part of France, and we were graduated from the Architecture School of Brittany in Rennes at the end of the 90s. This is, first of all, we'd like to talk about the French philosopher Augustin Berg, where you see on the screen actually. His thinking guides our project and our approach to design. He said that modernity cut off a human being from his ambient culture, and that it is necessary to reconnect those two. That's very important for us. Contrary of the past dogma of modernity, it's time for a reconciliation between the human and its own context by bringing back nature that has been abused by man, which now must be respected and loved. We take care of the epidermis. That means the skin of architecture would help us to achieve this reconnection between our condition of human beings and the external environment. Finally, the agency's approach is based on the development of an architecture of matter, able of linking architecture to its context. This approach is closely linked to landscape issues, as the architectural skin is the link between architecture and its surrounding territory. So we're going to begin the lecture with a presentation quickly of our approach and the recent reference on equipments.
After finishing up the school, we started to work in different practices that we had in interest in research and architecture. Excuse me. I worked for Christian Aubet in Paris and Hervé with Edouard François. We began by work in architectural office, and in parallel, we participated at competitions and we won several research awards with foreign residency grants through Italy at the Villa Médicis. Here is an image of a marble opus incertum from antiquity with bronze clips we took in the villa. There's a picture from Kyoto with a forest of cherry trees with daffodil borders. And here is a picture of Ethiopia. In Addis Ababa, we have discovered a fantastic vernacular architecture made with eucalyptus and straw. These trips made us aware of the richness of vernacular and local architecture, and that in the end, we didn't know our territories in Western France very well. It was through traveling abroad that we became aware of our own territory. Those influences put together inspire our design through main ideas: mix natural and artificial, mix sophisticated form and rough form, mix hard and soft. Here is a picture of a straw dress made by a French designer, Franck Sorbier, which we think very, very beautiful. It's actually in an exhibition in Marseille called Fashion Folklore. This picture brings garments inspired by natural materials and very graphic design that we appreciate much.
To build from high to low tech, that's the theme of the lecture, and also yes, all the participants. Before presenting 3 collective housing projects, here is a few view of project emblematic of our approach at the frontier between architecture and landscape. where we are testing natural low carbon materials, wood for structure, tree trunk as pillar straw, or wood for insulation, and thatch for roofing. Here is the Biodiversity Research Center in La Roche-sur-Yon, made in wood structure and in thatch on the roof and on the facade. That is all inspired by vernacular architecture and also by our trips in Africa. So we make like an hybrid of form between the local tissue and texture, and also the matter that we approach, especially in Ethiopia.
Through the trips.
The project, as you said, Thiago, has been awarded many times and has been exhibited in Paris at the Pavillon de l'Arsenal, where he was finalist of the FIBRA Award Architecture. That was an exhibition about architecture contemporary with vegetal fiber. There was at this exhibition a prototype of the facade, and it was very important to us to be exhibited in that kind of process, and to show how we can re-engage vernacular architecture in modern process. The second emblematic project of the office is the Echo Museum of Rennes near Nantes. Also in wood structure, and in, as you can see on the picture, in chestnut on the envelope. In this project, as Flore said, we mix natural and artificial, sophisticated form and raw form, and hard and soft. You can see with the tree trunk and the difference between the envelope that appear also on the outside and on the inside of the space. So this is not only a question of envelope of outside facade, but it's also a question of ambience in the inside of the building. The third project that we have achieved recently is a low carbon school in Saint-Pabu in the west of France, Brittany, which is entirely covered with thatch roof, as you see on the picture, with wood structure and wood insulation. That means the project is actually very low carbon and need less energy to survive and to work, notably on the winter. So when we think of building housing, we need time to test plan, materials, its properties, story, geography, and vernacular aspects. So we need that time, and when we think about building housing, it's the same when we build equipment, for example. We try a lot till we find the right one, the fitting one. We're going to begin to present you three projects of collective and affordable housing. If we have time, we're going to begin a fourth one. It will depend because we have a lot of image to present, but I think it's okay with the time. The first project is near Nantes, in Rezé, in the south of Nantes, on the city. It's a big project of 105 collective and affordable housing in the neighborhood called La Jaguère. The project is located in the new district of Rezé, in the south of Nantes, rich in a geographical location and strategic landscape. The challenges of the project is to contributing to the writing of the identity of a new district, as you can see on this aerial view during the build construction. on the east of on the west, sorry, of the image, you can see a big greenhouse, and also a district of little house, also on the west, and on the north, it's more collective housing. And the mass plan, you can see that we have decomposed the project in 6 buildings. The project is composed like a hamlet, where residents move from the urban to the open countryside through notion of neighborhood life, private gardens, food space, and communal space. And as an extension of the work of fine integration of construction in the topography, vehicle access in the block will be limited to reinforce the concept of undercover park and accompany the walker towards the large landscape. The aim was to eliminate the cars from the site and to let people walk on the landscape, and make the link between the urban part of the district on the east to the landscape on the west. The surrounding of the buildings become space for crossing, meeting between locals and visitors. So in the mass plan, you can see the 6 buildings, the place of the new neighborhood on the east, and the old district on the west with landscape and old village.
At the initial, the urbanist wanted that the cars go more inside, and we said no, we didn't want to do that. So there was a little fight, and finally we get that the cars stay on the outside and the patrons stay inside.
Here is an image of the competition that we won, where you can see the alternance of stripes building and stripes of landscape. That was the goal of the project. Given the large number of dwellings, 105, we have searched to achieve a low density by dividing the program into 6 small buildings so that the parkland permeates the plot. This subtle variation of size is accompanied by a volumetric composition alternating linear volumes with more compact volumes, so as to realize the programs without there being an immediate perception between free accession, affordable, or social housing. 2 materiality surround the buildings. To the west, 2 buildings in direct contact with the park are a wooden frame in Douglas. 4 buildings to the south and east, more urban, are covered with pearly white paint. That's the expression of the scheme that you show on the screen. Here is the plan of the parking. We hide the car, and as told Flore, we hide the car under the building to preserve a natural park in the open ground, in the strip between the building, alternating built and landscape stripes. So we preserve the ground, and we can have very good plants between the buildings. On the ground floor plan, you can see that all homes are north-south crossing or with double orientations, with generous outdoor space, with balconies or garden on the ground floor. The flats in the 2 wooden buildings are served by walkways, as we did in few projects. The 3 projects that you will see use the same walkways outside the buildings to make people cross themselves and preserve the intimity by separating the walkways from the building. We have varied this type of housing duplex on the ground floor, walks through or double occupancy housing, attic house, and so on. So this is the plan. You can see there are some duplex or double cross homes. And there are also on the attic some perch housing and events that make like houses on the attic. Here are a few photos showing the alternating built and landscape strips, the variation in materials, the infiltration park, the outdoor space, and the house on the roof. The buildings are also punctuated in the attic by winter gardens, and on the ground floor by the facade of the activity rooms or by a generous hall lounge on the place. And you can see here it's an activity room or a lounge hall when people can share themselves or make other things that's only an entrance in the building. The buildings are wrapped in continuous balconies with white lacquer metal railing or in wood, like as you said, as you see on the picture. They undulate slightly and are also punctuated by private exterior storage in units. Here you can see the undulation of the balconies and the storage that come to make punctuation on the facade and make also a separation between all the outdoor terrace.
We have the same typology with the white buildings.
The winter gardens are like greenhouse types, composed of glass elements, echoing the surrounding market garden landscapes that you can see on the landscape here on the photo. This treatment of facade thus offer an alternation of materials and provide a chromatic palette and texture, generating a coherent variety of material from public space and the surrounding walking paths. There is a view from the walkway outside the project and the bridge to come to your house. And the house on the roof, like an event of the project, which is a duplex on the last level. The second project is also in Nantes, but not in the south of Nantes, but in north, in Hervé. And it's a passive house housing.
It concerns 44 collective lodging. The surface is 1,140 square meters. You can see the municipality of Hervé is on the neighborhood in. It is located between the rural countryside and new urbanized area. There were several projects and different types of housing, like in Jose. You can see high-rise and middle-rise buildings and also independent houses. All this area was followed by an urbanist. Right from the competition phase, because it was a competition, the developer and urban planner were determined to position the project in terms of high environmental quality and to obtain passive house certification. A passive residence is a dwelling that is virtually self-sufficient, in terms of its heating requirements. It can make do with solar gain, the energy released by occupants and domestic appliances, and very high insulation. The requirements induced by the passive house objective are numerous: controlled cost, detailed design, upstream collaborative work with all project stakeholders, etc. These objectives can sometimes come into conflict with urban prescriptions and the urban planner. For example, at first, at the competition, we draw building more compact, and they don't accept. They wanted another proposition. So we have made more fragmentation. So we can, here is the plan. We positioned the homes in the upper part of the site in 3 little buildings. At the beginning, we wanted 2, leaving porosities from the street to the north and to view the landscape to the south. Facing south towards the valley in Orwold, the site of the plot is positioned like a balcony opening onto a green view, making it an almost ideal north-south belvedere for a passive house proposal. We positioned the parking lots on the slope to hide them and placed the homes above them, overlooking the landscape with large outdoor terraces and also gardens. All the flats are through planning served by a north-facing external passageway. This is a floor plan that we like to vary in our project. You have seen the same in Rosé, as it allows us to have beautiful floor plans that are very open to the south and the landscape, and offers walkways where residents can cross paths and meet each other. Here is an axonometry. The project, therefore, favors a bioclimatic approach because there's a mixed concrete and wood frame structure. It gives the building inertia needed for this construction to store it and redistribute, as well to enhance acoustic between apartments. Double insulation from the outside and inside with thermal bridges treated. Compact transversal massing of apartment for natural ventilation via opening on opposite facades. Double flow ventilation to recover internal heat. Passageways and balconies are made of wood and metal, uncoupled from the primary structure of the building to avoid thermal bridges. The idea for the housings was to offer something unconventional, accessible like superposed house with generous outdoor spaces. We are going to show you a few photos of the project from the northern part on the street side to the southern part on the valley side.
Here is the northern part from the street with the walkways that deserve each housing.
Passageways and balconies are made of wood and metal and coupled from the primary structure of the building, like we said, to avoid thermal bridges.
This is another view of the walkways. This one is on the east facade. That's a variation we like to do, not to make them the same plan in each building, but to make some variation to offer a more dynamic structure and also vibration of the envelope. On the east facade that you can see on the picture, we worked a large bay windows to the south. that's also a challenge when you make a passive house construction, that you have to open a maximum on the south for the sun, and you have also to protect the sun. So that's quite the difficulty of that kind of project.
Each unit has its own private terrace facing the valley, with outdoor storage area for metal uses, laundry, storage, drying. Here in the picture, you can see the houses on the front side and then the buildings on the back. Like the same, you have the houses on the floor. We cut the entrance with a concrete wall, very big to cut each entrance, to make them more privative. And we see the houses with gardens and the terrace.
And as we do on the project of the Jaguar, here you can see the car, but on the slope, the car on the ground, and the house are like a belvedere on the landscape. So we hide also the car, except for a few cars on this little place. But that's what the building is more on elevated and with a large view on the landscape. The storage make also the separation between all the terrace and make an alternation between each apartment, so that you don't have a superposed apartment, but more superposed housing with large terrace for each of them. The first one is very large because of the car park below, and on the attic there's also a large terrace.
We can see the stairs outside, which are open on the landscape. It means that we don't have to put hot. It's more economical, more efficient for energy.
Here is a large terrace on the car park for an apartment. So it means you can have your own private terrace, very big, on viewing the landscape as you were in a house. So the goal of each project is every time to not make a superposed apartment, but make like we have a different house superposed.
And we like when there's many quality to enjoy when you are an inhabitant. So it's like generous, big.
This is the terrace on the attic, where the landscape is more offered for the inhabitants. And on the north facade, how we treat the walkways, not touching the facade, but divided to have more intimacy for each inhabitants, and with a little bridge to enter at home. It's also made with a hybrid structure, wood and concrete. Here's another view of the big terrace on the first floor. And inside the apartments, you are like at home with big windows facing the landscape, and your private terrace view the landscape. Here's a global view of the project on the Valand of Horhout.
And they put some sheep. We don't put you the photo, but they put sheep to cut the grass, and so it's very, how we say,
rural aspect. So we are in the city center, but with that kind of sites and exploration of landscape with the ship they put on the park. You are like on a rural site. That's very interesting project. The third one is the project near La Rochelle in the southwest of France. It's 64 collective social housing. Here is La Rochelle, the beginning of the southwest. In France, we cut the country in two, but yeah, it's the beginning of the south. Nantes is 200 kilometers north, so it's not so far from the office. It's a different project because it's in an old district called Pierre Loti neighborhood, which has been in the 60s as a new neighborhood archetypal from this period of triumphant modernity with towers and blocks. So it's very, yes, archetypal neighborhood. The particularity of the site is that the district is very close to the sea and the beaches of the Atlantic coast. But the building of the 60s have negated this context. So today the target of the urban renewal project because it's a district in deep crisis. So the aim is to participate in the construction of the neighborhood new identity regarding its rich social history and strategic location. Several projects are already achieved, contributing to start transforming the area. Here is an historical view of the neighborhood, very, as you can see, archetypal from the 60s, is with towers and blocks, with the negation of the site because the sea is very, very close to the context. So yes, here is the view of the site after the beginning of the renewal project. But there was also big quality of the site with large tree and comfortable place where the people can play, can meet each other and have fun. And it was not so archetypal as that. The plan was also given by the urban planner and the renewable project urban destroyed one of an existing existing blocks to develop a new project dividing into plots. This 64 dwelling project is divided into 2 buildings, is implemented in the heart of the residence Pierre Loti, completing an urban renewal. As a consequence, the process aims for a volumetric transition. A differentiated answer is given for each building in order to make the most of their respective potential. On the east, the air building, through the shape of its roof, floors, movement, and volumes, gradual transition assure a new link towards Hervé city center. On the west part, so the left of the plan, the S building, facing the most imposing form of the existing buildings, offer in response of a more compacted monolithic volume. The two construction offered to the passerby sequence facade, horizontally with long terrace and vertically with entrance and vertical flows inside the building, designed as rift, as you can see on this aerial view, with the 2 buildings that are different but also homogeneous with the treatment of the long terrace envelope the facade. The project highlights ideas of appropriation and habitability with a wish of giving to each dwelling a nearly private access. This was images from the competition. And from the north, you have the R building with walkways and the S building, which is more compact. On the ground floor plan, as you see on the screen, the dwellings are accessible through individual entrance and an enclosed private garden for each apartment, with a direct way out to the orchard and the landscape. The 5-room apartments are organized as duplex, giving to the dwellings a real shape of detached house. Firstly, here is the same plan of ground floor. For this project, where the cars are not under the building but are outside due to the low budget that we have, and there are few cars that on below the S building on the ground floor, but the majority of the car park is outside due to the low budget. Firstly, the dwellings were sought and conceived from the inside in relation to the surrounding nature. Every dwellings are dual aspect or double oriented, and each space designed to benefit from natural lighting and view. Most of the dwellings are composed of 2 parallel parts with a clear separation between day and night space. The daytime dual aspect part includes entrance, kitchen, living room, terrace. The nighttime part contains bedroom and damp rooms. In the R building, as you see on the screen, the pass reinterprets feature of individual housing into the apartment block, passing through a fence, pushing a barrier, following an alley, taking advantage of the landscape, and entering the dwellings through a door directly open to the outside. Outdoor corridors allow narrower walk, offer numerous view, and support neighborly relations. This bridge establishes a gradual distance between public and private space. In addition, displaced accesses to the entrance preserve the dwelling's intimacy from the traffic. The outdoor corridors give access to the dwellings thanks to private footbridge. I'm not sure if you can see precisely the plan, but you can see the dwellings are composed of 2 parallel parts. I repeat, with a clear separation between day and night space. The S building, which is more compact, the density of the construction and the efficiency of the distribution, 8 dwellings per floor, implies a precise work regarding natural light input in each space, and especially in the communal areas. The path invented for the residence starts in a dual aspect hall, north-south oriented, completed with a northwestern fragment. This cutting up in the building allows the creation of clear views toward north, south, and west in shared spaces based in light. You can see on this plan the complexity and the efficiency of the plan, but also the way we cut the plan in to approach natural light on the entrance. Here is few photos of the building achieved. The buildings are enveloped into a natural large wood scheme with facade covered with solid slats and handrails made of open work rafters placed in an alternative reason. Here is the R building on the east, and the general view of the R building and the S building on the west. Each dwelling has a shared storage unit on its balcony made of colored polycarbonate that animates the facade and separates the dwellings. Generous glassed facade protected by the terrace shows the indoor space quality and the elaborated relation between inside and outside. Each dwelling becomes a belvedere. The landscape takes entirely part in the project and participates directly to the quality of private and communal areas.
You can see on the photos that we are near the sea because there's a boat on the balcony.
From the outside, the facades are entirely glassed, making it difficult to imagine the interior and to distinguish between the bedroom and the living rooms. That was for us a volunteer architectural voluntary, not to have the distinction between each space inside and to make more glassed facade as possible. Here is the details of the storage in colors and different large terrace for each inhabitants, and each buildings look at the other. That's an experience for us. The building, as you see on the facade on the picture, is a mixed structure with wood for balcony and principal structure, and concrete for balcony and principal structure, and wood for the envelope and the balconies. Here is the different shape of the air building, like as roof in echo of the little houses on below the district.
You can see typical architecture of the south of France with des pierres,
with tiles
and the big blue volet. It's very typical.
We also have the walkways where the inhabitants can meet each other, or maybe sometimes play football for the children. And the way we approach the structure also as an echo of the modernity of the old districts of the neighborhood, not to cut off from this aspect, but to have an approach in kind of showing how the modernity also give us some good way to build. Here is the walkways to enter of each apartments that transform each apartment of in housing. And the way of inside, we have big windows looking at the outside. And sometimes there's a play between inside outside, from the terrace to the entrance hall of the building. Here is detail of the private terrace with storage in colors that makes a separation also between each apartment. And the cross apartment north-south with big windows facing the balcony and the landscape. Here is an angle apartment. And another terrace facing the S building, the R building, with the walkways. And the way we cut the building, not to make approve the capacity and cut off sometimes the volume to share some space and to make like a play with inside and outside spaces.
We can see a swimming pool because it's out south of France. They have a hot temperature in summer.
And here is a detail of the facade, of the glass facade, which you can distinguish what is inside between bedroom or living room or kitchen. And anyway, you have also storage that makes the separation between each apartment. To finish, at the end of the construction, we had the good surprise to have the view to the seaside from the second floor of each building. That was for us a good and big success because we have transformed an ordinary situation into a seaside resort. So the client also was very surprised and very fascinated that we have succeeded to change the image of the neighborhood with that kind of project. We are arrived at the end of the lecture. Maybe if you have 5 minutes, I think maybe Thiago can. It's okay for you if we have.
It's brief. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, we have 3 slides to
Yeah,
show.
sure.
We are currently developing a new project for 79 social housing units in Rennes, which also in Brittany, north of Nantes. I have only 3 pictures, so we not be long. It's an experimental project where we're looking to decarbonize the architecture as much as possible using a wood structure and a straw insulation. So it's quite complex because we have a number of constraints, technical, of course, but also urban. As the town planner, maybe Paola Vigano is very demanding. So what's more, our customer is a social landlord, and we have to offer the most comfortable housing possible at a controlled cost. Our project makes part of a new neighborhood, low carbon neighborhood. So all the architects have the same goals to decarbonize their project using wood, using straw in installation, and using less concrete as possible. So the concrete is only for the foundation, for the ground floor, for the car park, and the principal level are made in wood and sometimes with a hybrid structure, concrete and wood. On the picture, you can see there's a school on the neighborhood, and each architect have developed their own project with the volunteer of the Rennes City Council and the urban planner that is Paola Vigano. Here is a few view of the district where all the projects are low carbon, with a majority using a wooden structure, biosourced insulation, and wooden envelope. So here is our project with different variation of volume, and also on the ground floor, it's the car park. So each apartment begins on the first floor until the 10th floor, which is going to be quite difficult because actually we studied in a wooden structure with a straw insulation. I finished with this detail. It's quite important to us, and how we're gonna make this approach. So that's the end of the lecture. I hope we are not too long, and that our English is not too bad. Sorry for that.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.